Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2023 Kia EV6 GT. So this started production in 2021, with this version starting production in 2022, and it's a compact crossover SUV. Now typically the standard versions of this car you can get between 168 and 321 horsepower, which I'm sure are all fairly lovely, but this version has a massive 577 horsepower and 545 pounds-feet of torque. So that's 256 horsepower more than the next highest power output vehicle, and about 100 pounds-feet of torque more as well. So it's quite a whopping increase in power, to be honest. And yeah, it's not often that you see such a large difference between one model of a car over the other version. So yeah, that is quite impressive. Overall, I do like the look of this car. Doesn't look like it's trying to be too futuristic, while still, looking different enough from every other Kia out there. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Unfortunately though, there is no frunk on this vehicle. Not sure how we get this open without exploding everything. There doesn't seem to be a way to do so, so we'll just explode it in case. So yeah, as you can see, it's just got a lot of electronic gubbins, your power washer, your normal battery, and everything like that. So yeah, nothing under there that we can really use for any space, but it's got plenty of space on the inside like you'd expect, because all of the batteries are on the floor, so you've got a really rather nice flat floor without any drivetrain to get in the way. Nice looking interior. It's not as screen heavy as some EVs, you don't have some massive tablet in the middle of it or anything like that, which I personally find to be ugly and look lazy. So yeah, really like that. And it's also got some analog buttons on the go as well, which again is always a plus. So yeah, that's all very well and good. Like the sportier seats that this has got going on as well. Also got plenty of room in the back. Again, flat floor because you've got no drivetrain, so yeah, plenty of leg room and headroom in there. And you've also got a ginormous boot, as you can see. That's verging on estate levels of size, quite frankly. And yeah, again, flat floor because there's no drivetrain to intrude into the interior. So yeah, all very practical. And like I said, it's got all of that power and all of that torque. It's also got some extra bits to it to make it the car able to handle all of that extra power and torque. So it's got grippier tyres, it's got a rear electronic limited slip differential, electronically controlled suspension, improved brakes, and a strengthened body. And in this game in particular, you can add body parts from a company called Adro. So I'll show you off here. So this is the front bumper. You can change it to that if you so wish. It looks like it's carbon fibre, that as well, although it does add weight regardless of that. And then we can also do the same with the side skirts. I think we can do it on these wheels. Do we do it on the wheels? No. It's not often I use the buttons on this on the Forza Vista mode. Where are we? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you can do the rear as well. So you can change the spoiler. I think that just changes it to carbon fibre basically. And then the bumper as well. As you can see, gives it a much bigger rear diffuser. Apparently improves the braking somewhat if you so wish to have that done. Yeah, I don't think we can show off the side skirts. There we go. So yeah, side skirts, so there we go. Not a major change, just a bit of an addition to the bottom there. Slightly reduces the drag, which is all well and good, but it does again add a lot of weight. So yeah, and you don't really want to be adding a lot of weight to this car because it does weigh quite a lot at 4,795 pounds. There are obviously heavier EVs out there, but there are also lighter normal combustion engine cars out there. So yeah, I forgot to say, it gets its power from a 77.4 kilowatt hour series of batteries, which power 2 electric motors, one up front and one at the rear. And it has 49% weight up front and 51% weight up at the back. So not perfectly balanced, but could be a lot more out of balance if it from like other cars have been. So yeah, overall an impressive looking car. Got plenty of interior space and it's got plenty of power and torque on the go. But let's see what it can do out on the open road, as that is really the make or break for a car like this. So let's get out there and see what it can do. Right, so here we are at the drag strip, so let's see what this car can do before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll get it round the track. So yeah, it is quite a hefty car, but being electric you have that power all of the time. So yeah, it's pretty much instantaneous off the line, as you can see. And there we go, and the more the revs build up, quite frankly, the faster it's only going to get. And yeah, fairly impressive kind of rate of speed considering it's quite a hefty car. It's not a small car either in terms of the aerodynamic profile it's got going on. But yeah, 134 mile an hour there is pretty good. And yeah, it's just nice to see Kia back in a Forza game, quite frankly, because we've only ever had 3 other Kias in previous Forza games, and even then it's been quite a while since we've had any of those. So we've had the Kia Stinger before, the Ceed, and the Forte Coupe SX, which is, yeah, a car I don't think we've had since Forza Motorsport 4, in fact. So yeah, we've not had much from Kia, and this is their first EV offering that we've had on these Forza games. So yeah, it's just nice to have them back, to be honest, and hopefully we get some more added, or at least in the next Forza Horizon game we get some more from them in that. So yeah, Rivals mode, so yeah, we're in low-end A-Class, which isn't bad, but I expected better given the amount of power it's got. But the stats are all fairly respectable, not outstanding, but still respectable. The only weak element really is the braking. Now obviously the brakes have been improved over the standard vehicle versions of this car, but clearly not enough to deal with all that weight that it's going to have going on, which obviously isn't helped by the extra momentum you're going to have on the go with all the extra speed and acceleration. So yeah, but the launch, acceleration, handling and speed are all fairly good. It's just the brakes that are ultimately letting it down, unfortunately, which, yeah, seems to be a common occurrence among the EVs, to be honest. I saw a review of the MG Cyberster, and its brakes were pretty much cooked after a fair few hard braking sessions. So yeah, I don't know why that's the case with EVs. Maybe it's just because braking technology hasn't caught up to the fact that these cars weigh a hell of a lot more than standard vehicles. But yeah, for whatever reason, the brakes just aren't good enough for this vehicle. But let's see how good enough on this track, because yeah, this is where we're going to really test them out. So let's hear what the car sounds like first, and then we'll talk about it some more. So despite being all-wheel drive, this is actually more rear bias than you might expect, so it does kind of like to slide about a bit, because more than half the power is sent to the rear wheels. And yeah, that does mean that the handling is not always consistent, to be honest, and coupled with those brakes, which, yeah, they'll stop you, but they don't instill the maximum amount of confidence, to be honest. So yeah, handling is decent. There are certainly better EVs out there in terms of handling, but you could also do a lot worse, to be honest. So yeah, it's just a shame though that it's not quite as sharp as you might expect, given, you know, this is a top of the line version, it's got the most power, the most torque, and yet handling wise it's still not quite there. I just think, you know, car manufacturers, when it comes to EVs, just quite haven't been able to, you know, mask the immense amount of weight that these cars have going on. But they have been more than able to, you know, mask the amount of weight when it comes to acceleration, as it can do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, 0 to 100 in 7.986 seconds, and going to a top speed of 161 miles an hour, which is all fairly good, to be honest. That's a lot quicker than some vehicles out there that are EVs, and yeah, for anything that's got this level of power, that is more than respectable. To be honest though, I'm not massively interested in you know, getting the lowest amount of acceleration time out of an EV, especially one that is more of an everyday vehicle. It just means that, you know, you're going to be giving people a lot of, you know, driving sickness, or potentially hurting their necks or anything like that with neck snapping acceleration. Obviously it's good for when, you know, pulling out onto a motorway or getting out of a junction or anything like that, but most times you're not really going to be using that kind of acceleration or power. But it's nice to know that it's there for when you need it. So yeah, overall I'm impressed by this car. It looks great for the most part. The only thing I'm not really keen on is that, you know, that silver chrome strip that's going around the back there. Just doesn't seem to be in keeping with the rest of the look of the vehicle, but yeah, the rest of the car looks great. It's got plenty of practicality on the go. It's apparently quite a long range, you know, battery on it, so go quite far on it, and it's also properly quick. And even though the handling isn't the sharpest out there, it's not going to, you know, throw you into a tree or, you know, be annoying to drive. So yeah, overall, well worth getting this vehicle in the game. It's 80 points in the current festival series, so yeah, you can't just get it in one season, unfortunately, so you have to work it over at least 2 seasons. I worked up the amount of points to be only 19 points within earshot of getting this out after the first season, so getting the other vehicle in the current festival playlist meant that I got both at the same time. So yeah, but it's well worth getting. It's a really rather fun car to drive overall, and it looks great, and it should be fun to upgrade and drive online as well. So yeah, get out there and get it if you haven't already. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.